I think that we will get started, Jann. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with a Cowgirl. I am Brett Kruger. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. Like Jann, my husband, myself, and my kids, we were in the horse show bubble this weekend. It was fun. It's always a good day when we get to be as a family and together as a family doing what we love. It was not as successful as a weekend for me as I would have liked, but I can tell you that over the last 2 months, we've had a lot of amazing women on this show who have a ton of really good advice, who have some things that just kept sticking with me, playing through my head as I was going through the weekend. And I'm pretty open about the fact that my downside with myself is I struggle mentally. And I was able to kind of overcome some of that this weekend with their words. So thank you for that. I am super excited today for our guest. She's a definite cowgirl boss babe. She has made a name for herself and put a mark on an industry that's primarily been dominated by men. So very cool. Thank you so much, Jann, for joining us this morning. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be with us and share your story. Jann, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and a little bit about you.
I'm Jann Parker, and I manage the Billings Livestock Commission horse sales. In 1998, my husband, Bill, my late husband, Bill, and I had the opportunity to take over management of the monthly horse sale, September of 98. And and Bill managed it that's 23 years, like poof. So 260 some horse sales. And the past 5 years, it's been on me. So that's what I do. And I'm a competitor. I show cutting horses. I used to run barrels and picked up the sport of cutting probably about 18 years ago, 19 years ago. So that's what I do.
Jann, did you have horses growing up, or did you grow up with horses? What did that look like?
Well, my background, I'm from Fargo, and when I was 12, I begged for a horse, and my parents relented, and I got a little mare, and I went through the whole 4-H program. I showed, I did pleasure, I ran barrels, did the horse show thing and the jackpot thing, and moved to Montana when I was 21 and took a position as the executive secretary with the Rodeo Association. So that opened up a bunch of new doors, and I got to, I ran barrels and worked for Northern Rodeo, promoted rodeos and secretaried rodeos, and met my husband, and he roped and he rodeoed, and here I am.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
You mentioned time goes fast. It does go fast, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness, it goes so fast. And people tell you that. Like, I remember waiting to be 19 because in Minnesota, the drinking age was 19, and I was in college with NDSU, go Bison, right? And I just couldn't wait to be 19 so I could cross the river and go to Minnesota. But wow, I can't wait to be 19. Like, poof, gone. So you better do what you like. That's the lesson in that. You better do what you like. You better find what you like. You better love every single day, whether it is 100 degrees or you have a foot of snow. You better like where you live, because it just goes so fast and you don't get to do.
Yeah, and I think that we're reminded of that daily, how fast it can be taken from you, and so you should go out and live the life that you love, do all the things that you do.
And a year ago, we were all held back, and I think that maybe that lets you see even more, appreciate it even more. Maybe that little time out was positive. I said this year that silver is my new favorite color because of finding the silver lining in that. And I know I'm not the only one. I mean, being held back from doing what you want to do, going to work, going to the grocery store, going to your events, or going on vacation, doing any of that was tough last year. And so appreciate what we got.
I do. I want to go back to that. Before we go to that, though, I want to talk about. I truly believe that the greatest stories in life are not where you are now, but the greatest stories are where you came from. And you did just touch on that, but how did you get into the horse sale industry? Like, how did that happen, Jann?
I work for the Rodeo Association, Bill Rodeo, but Bill was a very, very good horse hand. Like horsemanship, Bill wore, he was a cowboy every day. Horsemanship just came natural to him. He was good. So we would trade, he would trade a horse or two to supplement our income. And we would pick out horse sales. And as we added more horses in one or two or three, that he would make a goal to sell the horse. So, or horses. So in addition to rodeo, he would ride horses, and we'd trade them. So that's how the horse deal came to be. Our very first horse sale that we got to manage. So this is so perfect. This is how things happen when you're not looking for them. So once upon a time, the college national finals was held in Bozeman, and David Allen, a rodeo promoter at the time, asked Bill if he would consider putting on a horse sale in conjunction with the CNFR. They wanted a ride horse sale and they wanted a bucking horse sale. So that was our first toe in the water, and you couldn't harness to a better promoter, a better event. We had to bring our A game. I remember Harry Vold sold it. Now, how cool is that?
That's really
The consigners were people you read about in books. The Paul Tierney's, in our bucking horse sale, that was different, but it was held right there. It was pretty cool. That was our first horse sale, and like with all things that are first, you learn a lot.
When you were talking about Bill being such a hand, Jann, our family's been friends for a long time,
Right?
and I just thought about this, and I don't know how I got it or why. I have one of Bill's rodeo buckles from the 80s. I don't know how I think that Blake maybe got it, and then I have it now. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, Blake could tell you, like back when Bill traded like that, we had a round corral at our place in Huntley, and he'd have horses tied up in our arena. And I mean, he just worked horses from morning till night, all with the goal of these horses are going to go to Corsica. These horses are going to go to the Nile Stock Show. These horses are going to go to Rapid City Stock Show. These horses are going to go to the Northern National Gelding Sale at Pays. And I mean, that just was our annual rhythm, set of horses to go to those different sales. And we worked really hard. He worked really hard on them. And I know that Blake, he got to enjoy some of that. He'd come and stay with us.
Yeah, it's crazy world. Running a sale, especially of the magnitude of Billings Livestock Horse Sale, cannot be easy, Jann. Talk about just doing that and the people that it takes and all of it.
Well, I think it's all evolution too. I mean, it's not like you walk in there today and say, hey, this is my new job. I'm managing this horse sale. Like I said earlier, our first sale was in September of 1998. And then owner Jack McGinnis had asked Bill, he said, hey, my kid's playing football. I don't want to do this horse sale thing. What about taking over the horse sale? And Bill's like, well, I want to talk to Jann about it. If that's something we're going to do, because like the thing about Bill was he never did anything kind of, ever. Everything was like his practice was perfect practice. To this day, I don't run a flag well because I never ran the flag on my own, but maybe twice when I did it, when I was thinking he'll never know I did it on this horse. Because so believed that if you're going to do it, you need to do it good. You need to bring your best effort. And if you commit to it, you need to follow through. So when we committed to that first horse sale, wow, that was the beginning of it. And it just evolved, though. The relationships that you build, like when Bill traded with Brian, your father-in-law, and Blake would come to our house. I mean, you already have these relationships built from the trading horses and from rodeo. So many of the customers for us were people that we know from rodeo or knew from rodeo, and that just added to the business, and it would just grow and grow and grow. And back then, things were different. It's not like it is today. You didn't have social media. This is 2 years before the internet, before everybody really got it. And
yes, it's crazy to think how much times have changed,
oh, I know.
and how much it has evolved.
Right. They've changed, and you can't stay back there. You have to respect some of the things that brought you, but you can't stay there. You have to keep on the quest of better, and in a fair way. So, that's how the sales grew, and back then there were way more horses. And then we went through the September of 2007 with the closing of the last plant, U.S. processing plant of horses.
I was going to say, explain that, Jann.
Explain it?
Some people, well, because some people might not know what you're talking about.
Okay. So this is a really quick little history lesson. I sat with Ned Little, who some people that are watching may remember Ned. We just lost him recently. But one, if not the biggest horse buyer in the United States at one time. Ned told me that in 1982, he listed 12 plants in the U.S. that processed horses, including one in Minneapolis, or in that area. But it was amazing that since 1982 till today, 2021, we have none. And in 2007, the final U.S. processing plant closed. That changed the fabric of the horse industry forever going forward. You lost the bottom, because at that time the bottom was determined by the processing value of a horse, the bottom of your market. So that met with the recession of 8, 9, 10. And because horses lost so much value, the ranchers, the people that had 10 mares and one stud, or 20 mares and a stud, they sold their mares. They sold their studs. Also at that time, a lot of the PMU ranches went out as well, and we sold a lot of mares and from the PMU. So it meets with the recession at that time. It was so, what's the word for it? Monumental, I guess, in the industry, that Congress ordered a GAO study, a government accountability study from the Government Accountability Office on, the shakeup of the horse market. So fast forward, we kind of claw our way out of there. So once upon a time at Billings, we were 2 days sales, 900 head, boom, 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 boom. With the sell off of those mares and sell off of all those programs, there's less horses. There's less horses in the pool, and I think that the breed registrations, we've all read AQHA, APHA, the reduction in the numbers of registrations. Well, that's because of 2007 and all the after effects of it. And you
Isn't
can
that
gloss it up and you can frost that cake any way you want, but that's the way that went. So here we are today, less
seeing
horses.
the effects of that?
Pardon?
Seeing the effects of that how many years ago?
Right. Well,
You know
there's
what I mean?
14 full crops. So 14 full crops of all those people, and every year less and less and less and less and less. So there's less horses out there. And I want to believe that our demand is better, but I think our demand is better for a better horse. So there's that on there as well. And then you add in social media, and you add in the reach of the internet, and you add in better horsemanship too. I think that people have way more opportunity to watch YouTubes and watch different horsemanship trainers. I mean, people's horsemanship has gotten better as well as the horses. So it's different.
I agree. Jann, earlier you had talked about COVID. Well, I love your story about 07, 08 and that period of time, because that was monumental in the horse industry. And you said you clawed your way out of there. I mean, you had to keep your head high and just keep clawing during that time, because otherwise it would have taken you under.
Right. Like I can't tell you, I think about it every now and then. Like how many people, I feel like I had to tug that boat out of the water, Bill too. Like we were just hooked to a ship and had to just continue to really do our best at Billings and try to be a leader, try to be positive, and continue to sell those horses, while you still had to do the rest of it. And I really felt like there was a lot on horse sales at that time. I mean, horses were dumped into public lands. Horses were, because people felt there was no value, and horses were dumped into sale barns and sale yards because they felt there were no value. Every now and then, still, after this long, someone will call me and say, "Are those loose horses worth anything?" I mean, they're still back then, because like people on ranches, or people, like a horse will have a 10 or 15-year cycle with them. So they haven't really paid attention to the horse market. Last they heard, horses were worth minimal.
Yeah.
They were giving away the loose horses,
Yep.
Well, that's so not true now, Like I said, we've clawed our way back. We clawed our way back probably in 2011, and the rest has just been growth of the industry in a different way.
Yep. So we were talking about that period in time, and that you always have to you have to change and evolve. And if you don't, you die. It just happens. Even when the times are good, the times are bad. When the times are bad, you definitely have to. But even when the times are good, people forget that you have to grow, or you have to evolve. I mean, especially when the times are good, otherwise you get left behind. And COVID, we were just talking about that a little bit ago. I feel like COVID was that period of time. It was a reality check for a lot of people. For me personally, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bad things that happen with COVID. I mean, definitely with people's health, etc. But I feel like it was God pausing our lives, saying, you guys need to slow down. Everybody across America, across the country, because everybody's lives were so busy, and you lose focus a little bit on the real prize at the end of the day, which is your family and him. And we filled our lives with a lot of meaningless stuff. And when COVID hit, he said, you can't. It's done. You're going to fill it with your family. And for almost everyone, it affected their business in some way. And you had to figure out how to do business in a different way. And you included, Jann, because your business shut down. They said no more to the horse sales. So you had to create a way to get people's horses out there to sell them, because people still wanted to sell their horses, correct?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so you went online with horse sales, which was something in the history of BLS you'd never done before, right?
No, because I really am not like I respect online stuff, but as someone who, I'll connect to a horse. I'll see the charisma. I'll see the magic. I want to see that. And sometimes I don't know that you feel that online. Right. But I knew that something had to give there.
Yeah.
And not just for me, but I think that that is when you're at the helm of something, you have to lead others and be the way. So I am very, very fortunate in the team I have at Billings Livestock. Like, I really want to touch on that. I am surrounded by people who they have their foot on the gas, and I love it. I am hooked right to that wagon. And with the loss of Bill, like that wagon just, I just hooked to it. And I mean, we were hooked to it, but they look out past. They want things good. They want me good. They want that horse sale good, that cattle sale good, that yards good. And it was actually from within Northern Livestock Video, which is another piece of Billings Livestock. In fact, they're going to sell 140,000 head of cattle next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a Northern Livestock Video. So next week at Billings Livestock, this just gives you a piece of it. I'm just really proud to be a part of it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we sell 140,000 head of cattle on Northern Livestock Video. Thursday, we have a cattle sale.
Incredible.
Friday, our horse sale starts. Saturday, our horse sale. Sunday, horse sale cleanup. So, I mean, we have 7 rocking days next week. But through Northern Livestock Video and the reach that it has, they worked with us to change the format for horses. So we did what we called timed online sales, strictly online sales. Through that time, we did 7 of those. And that was a little learning curve, but good. The positive was so beyond what the negative was.
Well, of course, it's going to be a learning curve because it's something that you guys have never done. And that's, to me, because I was thinking about the conversation that we would have today. And, change is scary, Jann. Like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. Change is scary because you've never done it before. And so to step out there and do something that's never been done before in the history of your business, and do it well. I mean, you did it well. The results were great. And you just, every time you did one, you probably tweaked it or changed it a little bit to fit the format better to the point where you are today with it. So kudos.
Well, thank you. Well, and I have to say, the first one that we did, the timed online, this all doesn't work without a village, or Bill would call it an army. And you need that. Like, my consigners rose up for that because they wanted to do it too. So they put good horses on there. And I remember having the conversation with them saying, hey, you guys, this is sink or swim. If we sink, I need you to help me. You got to join in, and we're going to do this as a team. And wow, they did, but that goes with those relationships that you built back in the day that just keep growing and growing and growing. I mean, I don't know that if anybody that's been to Billings, and yeah, there's people that have bad experiences too, but we'll have a bad experience at Walmart too, but we still know what Walmart is. So and I'm not comparing it to that. I'm just saying that some days we all have bad days. And some days somebody might not deliver what you hope that they would deliver. No one got up that morning and said, hey, we're going to wreck it for this person. That wasn't it. It was just the way that the chips fell that day. But the online thing was, and continues to be, great. And that comes from a great set of consigners, the infrastructure of Billings Livestock and Northern Livestock Video, and a great set of buyers who did their research, watched the video, made the phone calls, went to your house. We had horses where people would go in their living quarters and try them and then buy them when they came online the next week. So it was pretty cool. It was good. And now we've added the segment of online to the live sale, where you can buy them online, you can buy them on premise, or you can buy them over the phone, because you still have people, no matter what, and especially I think in the ag community, that have questionable internet service. So they'll want to buy them on the phone. But yeah, that it's been a great addition.
And 12 months later, you're still tweaking and modifying and making it better. We were there in May, I think May. And I know that you had just added like the care, like, because that was a concern. Like, how do we keep the horses here for when they're going to ship out? And, you know, you figured that piece of it out. But the point is that business life is always evolving, and fitting the pieces of the puzzle together is the beauty of it, and coming up with new things and different ways to make it work. So I think that that is what you did, Jann, and it was good. I like it.
Yeah, thanks. I think it really did. It's worked out. It's worked out really well. It's not without its bumps, and I think that that's something too. You know, I think you don't win every time, and
No.
you really have to know that. And I think that sometimes people think you have to win every time. That's good that you want to win and you should set out to win, but you have to understand in business that there is a cost of doing business. And you can squeal and squawk and throw yourself on the ground and pull back and do it all you want to do. There is a cost of doing business. And you have to realize that. And you can't just, you know, say, I quit, I'm done, you know, that deal went bad, screw it. You just got to get tougher and try to figure out so that that doesn't happen next time, but yet have enough awareness to know that something's going to happen. I mean, it's just life.
Well, if you listen to any of, you know, the world's greats, you know, greatest entrepreneurs, people who are out there doing different things, they'll tell you, I mean, you have to, at least you tried, right? You have to try, because if you don't try, nothing will happen. And that I can't remember what the statistic actually is, but it's like maybe 3 out of every 10 ideas actually come to fruition or actually stick and work. But you have to try, because if you don't try, you're not going to do anything, not going anywhere.
Right. So, and then understand that you do trip and fall, and sometimes it costs money. You know, most of the time it costs money. Sometimes it costs a relationship, and that's too bad. But it's just the cost of doing business.
Yep, agreed. Jann, let's talk a little bit about your love for the cutting horses and what that looks like for you. You've been in the cutting horse industry for many years, long time. Let's talk about that.
Cutting. I like cutting. I like the horsemanship. I like the horses. I like the competition. But I would like that if I ran barrels again. Or Bill loved roping that way, you know. You gotta like it because it takes time. So if you don't like it or you're negative about it, it costs too much. It costs too much in financially and in your time. And in your headspace. So then it eats into other things. So you gotta like it. Yeah, I like it. I like my horses right now. I don't. One thing about me, I don't fall in love with them. I'm good about that. I probably fell in love with my first one back in the day, not my cutter, but my first horse, and Bill knocked that out of me real quick. So now I'm like, they all have wheels on them, but I like my horses right now. And you know, that all cycles. I mean, sometimes you click and stuff works your way, and sometimes you have to take the negative and realize that you just really got to push through it.
What is your favorite accomplishment to date with your horses?
My favorite accomplishment, you know, I'm not good with that because, like, I think when you're good, you tell everyone, and when you're great, they tell you.
Yeah.
And some days I want to scream that on Facebook, but I don't. But so I got to think about that.
Favorite memory, your most favorite memory that of something that you've done, and maybe it's not a win, maybe it's something else.
Well, I think maybe it's the story of this. So Idaho has a spring show in March, and it's good. And I had a highbrow cat gelding, and I was excited about having this highbrow cat gelding. And I had him in Idaho, as well as Bill had sent a horse along for them to tune up for a high school kid. So there were 2 horses there for me. I had to go to a funeral. in Minnesota. So I flew out of Boise with my brother, left my horses. When I got back from the funeral, they'd sold my highbrow cat gelding, Bill and the trainer. And I'm like, frick, you guys. I was so excited. I was like, poor me, you know? And I remember I was walking across the arena over the bridle rack, and I'm like, frick. And my phone rings. And it's like, hey, we want to sell this horse, blah, 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 blah. Are you interested in him? He'd won a lot. He'd won like 70. And they were just sick of him that day. And I'm like, boom, I'm in. Wow. Where did that come from, right? So I get to buy that horse, back up to the high school horse. Bill's like, you're there. I sold your gelding. Just ride that high school gelding. Please. But I did. And I sold him. The poor kid never even got to show him because Bill sold him and Bill found him something else to show. But anyway, I bought that gelding. I get him up to Billings in April, show him at our show in April, do good on him. And I said, Bill, I think I can show this horse at Western Nationals. He's like, seriously? And I said, yeah. He's like, okay. I win the non-pro at Western Nationals on that gelding. I showed him 4 times, period. That's the story. That's why I think sometimes, like, that's a favorite story, because that came out of the blue. There's things way bigger than us that control the universe.
Yeah.
I've been feeling kind of sorry for myself when Bill sold that cat gelding, but yet I knew that's how we make our house payment, you know. So you're kind of like, and here torn. I got it anyway. Yeah, it was torn. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, that was a nice gelding for me, and I sold him too. And the gal that bought him went on and did great things. And I think that's something we have not touched on. And I really want to say this, so I'm going to inject it right here. Okay, Breck?
Yeah.
I think that as part of a horse trader, and I wear that banner proudly. And we've been licensed and bonded, or now it's me being licensed and bonded since 1998. You know, and I mean, own it, and it's okay to own it. It's okay to be a horse trader. I love it when someone buys a horse that I've had a piece of and goes on and does great things. I love it when you guys put a horse in the horse sale and somebody buys them and goes on and does great things. And great things might be getting a blue ribbon at the 4-H horse show. Doing great things might be won at the National Finals Rodeo. You know, that's all relative. But the fact that the horse finds a good place and someone's happy and they go on and they're successful, even if, this is something I remember, back in the day, we took horses to Brian Sale and Wilmer, right? Bill sells this horse to this lady, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Bill. She came back there and she says, all I wanted was a horse to walk to the mailbox with every day. I will never forget it, ever. All she wanted was a horse to walk the mailbox with every day. She was never going to ride it.
She got it.
She got it. And so I think that we all have different levels of good, but point being, like, it's so fun to see people go on and do well.
I know. I had a conversation yesterday actually with a customer, a client, and we were just talking, and he's made the comments like, oh, maybe you guys are just doing too good of a job. I'm like, well, this is our job, and we take it very seriously. And if we're doing our job, the phone calls keep coming, right?
Supposed to.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, Jann. I mean, I love too seeing people go on and do good things. I echo your statement about, I fell in love with one horse, and then I don't get to do that anymore because it's too hard. So
right.
Fell in love with one horse, got that out of my system, and now I love them all, but I love seeing them go do good things with other people.
Right.
Because that's our job.
Right. And that's the fulfillment of our job. Like, it makes me happy. So, you know, that's why I like to do that honor roll in the horse sale paper. Like, send me your stuff. I want to read about horses that went through here and did well. You know, I have to laugh. So I'll tell this story too. So last year I'm in Fort Worth. I'm at the fraternity. My phone rings. Oh my goodness! It's Chelsea Schaefer with Spin to Win, roping the roping journal. Okay, she's like, Jann, what about this horse? She names it to me. And I'm like, oh, I kind of faintly remember it. Why, Chelsea? What'd he do? Like, she's like, well, they just won X number of rounds at the NFR on him. I'm like, seriously? Yay. So anyway, we followed back on what that horse is, but like sometimes I think we shouldn't be like that, but we've been whipped into that. Like, what do you do? Because you just so wanted to be positive. And in that case it was.
Oh, I'm losing you, Jann. Oh, there you are. Okay. Jann, as a competitor and somebody who is a dynamite business person, give some advice or some things that you keep with you to keep a positive outlook towards every day, towards the next run, towards the innovative things, something that our listeners can take with them for their time.
Oh, goodness. I think that, you know what? Be positive. That's it. The other day, I was listening to someone telling me about their run and what they could do to do better, but they used can't 5 times in telling me. And like I lost what they were saying because all I heard was, oh my God, you used can't 5 times. My dad would have got me out at the schoolyard and said, you're walking home. Bill would have stopped at the stop sign and said, you use that word can't, sister, you are walking. So I don't know, like I think that every day you just need to be grateful and know that you're not going to win every day, but you need to get up and try. You need to be the last guy working at it too. When it's 5 o'clock, it doesn't mean you get to go home. You want to be successful. You need to be the person that puts the lights out, and not just one day, but a lot. Like you can't cheat the grind. That's the other deal, because the grind knows.
Yeah, I think about that too. You know, a lot of people, what does it take? It takes everything.
It takes everything. Like this is in my office. It says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Along with a list of things that says to be successful, you will be the person that has to work longer than you want to, be the one that's still running when you're out of breath. You know, I think that there's a lot to all that. And like, I just try to live that. And I try to help others too, you know, like I really do. But I do try to, I want people to be successful. And I think that like I said earlier about the horse sale, when someone feels like they've been slighted, it wasn't like the team got up that morning and said, oh, today we're going to pick on so-and-so. It's just that that's the way the dominoes fell that day, because honestly, we want everyone to sell their horse well. I want everyone to have their best run. You know, I look back last weekend and my best run got me a 3rd place check. I had gotten a 1st place check, but that to me was not my best run. I think that is within you. You got to know when you just got to put forth your best. And sometimes you're not rewarded for it, and sometimes it's not recognized. But that doesn't mean you stop trying to do your best. You've got to keep doing, even when your boots are in the mud.
I love what you just said about sometimes your best isn't recognized, because that's so true. It is so true. Because people think that the win is the recognition, right? And sometimes, yeah, I love it. I loved that little nugget, Jann. Before we run out of time here, wrapping up, what does be the cowgirl you want to be mean to you?
I'll get up every day and just love it. Love your day. Love what you do. Love where you live. If you don't start making your changes, it goes so fast. And, you know, I also want to say about being a cowgirl too, you know, I think that us in the Western way of life, I got to get this in here for Bill. Like, we need to live that better. We need to wear our hats and wear your long sleeve shirts and be that, because you go and you ask these companies for sponsorships and you want to be a part of it. Like, I know that part of Billings' success is the fact that we marketed it as Cowboys Live Here before I ever used the tagline, before there ever was a tagline. that we made it be a destination where you are going to see cowboys. And you know what? I remember when I moved here and I was 21 years old, and my girlfriend from Fargo came to see me. We were at a stoplight at 27th and First Avenue North, right by where the DoubleTree is in the Northern Hotel. She goes, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm sitting at a stoplight, and in the cars and the trucks around me, they wear cowboy hats." That has stuck with me since then. And we need to live that. If that's what we are, if we want it to continue, it's on us. It's on us going forward. So, be the cowgirl and own it. Don't
Wear the
think, well, I think I'm not going to wear my hat, or I'm going to wear a sleeveless shirt and show up half naked. Quit. You guys, embrace it. Be cowgirl, be cowboy. And I think sometimes it's harder for women, like I think I wear a cowboy hat way more than most people do in a month, between the cuttings and promo things and the horse sales. But you know what? Just own it.
I agree, Jann. I recently saw a picture of you with your cowboy hat and stiletto heels on. So I know that you rock it all the time.
I cheated that day.
Love it.
I did. Jennifer cheated and took that picture. But yeah, true though. I mean, but you got to be I think that it goes back to the positive part. You need to start out bringing your A game as good as you can. And I get some days are better than others. I have bad days too, but I start out bringing my A game. I try. I really try. You can't quit trying.
I know. Well, for me, be the cowgirl you want to be means wear the hat. It means wear the hat. Because I think a lot of people are scared to wear the hat because they don't feel like they're good enough to wear the hat, or it's just not in the cards for them. But if you don't wear the hat and you really want to, you're only cheating yourself. So
you just got to own it. Check your pants and your boots. Just own it.
Yeah, I agree. Jann, is there anything that you'd like to add before we wrap it up today?
Well, I'm excited that you invited me to be a part of this. I look for you to do great things with it. I think it's really cool, Breck.
Thank you, Jann.
No, I think, you know what, everybody, go own it today, and you know what, help others along your way. I think that's part of it too. Don't be afraid of competition, no matter what it is that you're doing, because that makes you better. I had someone call me the other day, and they wanted to do like a straight BLS channel instead of using YouTube. And yeah, there's merit to it, but I said, what's wrong with YouTube? And they're like, well, they see other people's horses on there. Well, that's okay. I mean, we have to take care of our industry. We have to take care of one another. We can't just get so selfish and so not focused that we don't take care of our industry. And again, that's on us that are in the industry. We have to look out for it, because if we don't do it, no one else is going to do it. They're going to keep putting regulation on us. They're going to keep trying to. So fight for it, you guys. Fight to be a cowgirl. Fight to be a cowboy. Fight for what you want.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jann, for taking time out of your schedule today. I loved our conversation. So many good nuggets of wisdom, guys, and that's what this is about. I mean, Coffee with the Cowgirl was put together because it's so easy to listen and surround yourself with negativity every day. And if you surround yourself with negativity, you become that person. This was meant to be the thing that surrounds you with positivity and good people who are inspiring, who have good stories to share, who are in your corner, and ultimately it will make you be the cowgirl or cowboy that you want to be. So thank you, Jann, for all of your history and your stories. Awesome. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's conversation. Looking forward to next week. I've got 𝚒𝚕𝚒𝚒 with me next week. 𝚒𝚒𝚒𝚒 is the daughter of 𝚒𝚑 and 𝚘𝚒𝚒𝚒𝚒. She also is doing good things with Art of the Cowgirl. She does the reigning cow horse stuff. So excited for that conversation and what she's got going on. Thank you again, Jann. Hope everybody has a wonderful week. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.